Hey, yep, and it's yours truly, Pastor Kevin, here on the GMAP Broadcast Network. As promised, I tell you, we have been waiting patiently to have this little conversation, and it finally has arrived. Once again, we welcome each and every one of you to the number one station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. Yours truly, Pastor Kevin, and I am doing what I love because I love what I'm doing. And as promised, I am not going to procrastinate or hold off any longer. I'm going to go ahead and do what it is that I love to do, and that's invite one of our featured authors here to the GMAP Broadcast Network family. And I am honored, privileged, and blessed to welcome, present to some, introduce to others, Michael Byron Smith is here. Good afternoon, sir. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Oh my goodness. You know what? I hear people tell me, thanks for having me, but I'm thanking you for being here. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate everything that you're doing. And of course, I thank you so much for accepting the invitation to be a part of our broadcast network family as one of our featured authors. For those that don't know, now you know, he is one of our featured authors. All you have to do is simply stop by our platform, GMAP1.com. Click on the tab that is simply titled Featured Authors. You will see a copy of his publications there. All you got to do is click on them. It will take you to the necessary location to find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publications. I'm going to do what it is that I love to do, and that's give you the opportunity to introduce yourself. Tell us who you are. Who is Michael Byron Smith? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, Michael Byron Smith as my book tells, I was raised in a pretty dysfunctional family, but I found a way to work through that. I went to college, got a scholarship because I worked hard as a kid because I knew I wanted to get out of the situation I was in. And I went to ROTC and went to the Air Force, and I became an Air Force pilot. And I did that for about 6 years. And then I went to my occupation as an engineer and retired a few years ago and decided I wanted to help society. And I wanted to help people that were in my position when they were young. And so that's what I did. That's what I'm doing now.
Wow. And I'm loving every second of it. Appreciate you so much. And of course, we have these outstanding publications that we're going to be introducing to our viewers and listeners around the world here on the GMAP Broadcast Network, as well as our partner networks that are chiming in. You know what? Why don't you do us the favor? Why don't you tell us about your current publications, if you don't mind?
Yes, I think I'd like to start off with the book that's behind me. It says there, over there. That book I wrote about 10 years ago. And the reason I did that is because, like I said, after I retired, I wanted to help. I wanted a healthy society like most normal people would. And to me, a healthy society begins with the lowest nugget of society, and that's the family. And the family, had been falling apart, and there's been some recent gains in families getting back, but it's still a long way to go. And when families weren't working, it was usually the fact that the father wasn't around. And me missing a father myself when I was young, that's where I wanted to concentrate. I wanted to concentrate on fathers and fatherhood and tell them what they could do to help. So, when a father's missing, a kid loses a lot. I mean, you lose all kinds of. You don't get mentoring. You don't get taught certain things. You don't know how to use certain tools. You just need that learning. I was never encouraged to read. I was never encouraged to do anything. I just did it myself. My mom was busy raising 6 kids, and I was the oldest. So she was busy, and she was a waitress, so she was busy. So when I wrote this book, what it did was it taught the first book, parents, especially fathers, how important they are to the growth of their children, how they can deal with the challenges of being a father. And there are a lot of challenges, but you can overcome them. And why dad is being so important. And of course, mothers we know that they're important, but fathers are the ones we need to work on a bit more. And you know what happens when you don't have a father in a home? It's not good. There's 15 times more behavioral disorders without a father in the home. You're 7 times more likely to go to jail, 7 times more likely to drop out of school, and 7 or 8 times more likely to become pregnant as a teen. And these aren't good things. And 10 times more likely to commit a rape. These are all things that are just like awful in our society. And if we could gather families and make them better, these things will go away. They'll always be there, but not near in this number of order. So that book I wrote 10 years ago. And then a few years later, I decided I was going to write about my childhood, which was the purpose of why I wrote the first book. And yeah, we can talk about, if you have any more questions about my first book, I can tell you about what I've written recently.
Well, I'm loving it simply because I know for a fact that there is a tremendous amount of people that is in a situation to where they can totally relate to, let's look at reality for a minute, Michael. There are a lot of fatherless homes, and
Yeah.
I always hear women say, you need to spend time with your children or your child. At the same time, they're the ones that decided, hey, I don't want you around. So it's almost like a two-edged sword. And I'm sure now, will this particular publication, will it provide resources, or will it demonstrate some of the, necessary things or necessary steps that you have to take in order to overcome a situation like this?
Yes, it certainly does. The first book does that. It tells about challenges and gives you ideas of how to handle them. I talk about the 7 major principles of being a father, what you got to do to be a good father. That's all the principles of being a good father. And I even have, at the end of the first book, The Power of Dadhood, I have a checklist, a fatherhood checklist, that go through all the stages of being a father and ask you questions, kind of like a self-inspection checklist. It says, do you do this with your kids? How do you handle this situation? Did you do this? And it's something that a father can look at and measure himself and see where he's strong and see where he's weak. And like you mentioned, a missing father comes in 2 ways. My problem was my father didn't want to be around us, and then sometimes you have a situation where the mother and father don't get along, and the mother usually has priority over children these days, and sometimes she has control over the father not seeing the kids, which is not a good situation at all, assuming that the father is a good person.
Right. Wow. I tell you, and I'm excited, simply just to hear that there is some type of resource. There is something out there that people can and will relate to as they continue to, of course, show their love, care, concern, and support for a publication such as this one. And I want you guys to know the power of dadhood. The power of dadhood. Want you all to make sure you show your love, care, concern, and support. How to become the father your child needs. So important. We are just overjoyed with excitement when it comes to a situation like this. And of course, I know it's something that you can relate to. I know it's something you're excited about. And I want to make sure that we want to continue to be the blessing we possibly can, as much as we can, as often as we can, to continue to disseminate this information to people around the world, letting them know. Once again, Michael is one of our featured authors. You'll be able to see The Power of Dadhood, How to Become the Father Your Child Needs. It's in our featured authors area. Please make sure you show your love, care, concern, and support. And when you do, don't forget to leave a review. Now, won't you tell us a little bit about the other publication that you recently released?
Yes, just a few months ago, I released The Vagabond Life, and it's a story about my childhood, which, I had an alcoholic father who was and an undereducated mother, which is a bad combination, especially when you put it with 6 children. So I was the oldest, and my father was a merchant marine. He would travel the 7 seas, and he made good money, but he never sent money home to us. So my mom had to raise us alone. Now, he would come home occasionally, and that's how we ended up with 6 total kids in the family. But we all went through different problems, and the thing that happens is, I was the only one who graduated from high school out of the 6. So it shows you how, you need some people to push you sometimes. I have a sister that has a college degree, but some of us succeeded and some of us have not succeeded as well. So, I went to about 35 different schools because we had to move. We were always being kicked out of one house and had to move on to another. And so it was a tough upbringing, and I missed out a lot. And so I talk about this in my book, and I talk about what I did to combat that. And the biggest thing I had to combat that was to have a goal. And I as I told you in the beginning, I became a U.S. Air Force pilot. And when I was a little kid, sometimes we lived around the airport, and I would look at those airplanes and I'd watch them flying in the sky. I wondered what it was like to be in there and looking down on us, and how they understood all those instruments. And I thought, that's what I want to do. And but I knew that to be an Air Force pilot, you had to be an officer, and to be an officer, you had to have a college education. And so I studied. I studied all the time. Nobody forced me. I did it on my own. Nobody was there to push me, but because I wanted to be a pilot, I studied. And I was called down to my high school counselor's office one afternoon, and I was interviewed by 2 colleges, and I got scholarships to both. And I ended up going to Washington University in St. Louis, which is a very good school. And then I went from there. I mean, I was in control then. I had education. I joined ROTC. I became a pilot, and had a great family. I had 3 children. I got 4 grandchildren. All are doing well, just tremendously well. And that's why I wrote my first book, because I saw how things were done with me. Not that I knew everything at all, because I didn't know how, but I learned as I went, and how my family did. And having a good, solid family makes all the difference in the world. So my book is a story of a kid and all the hardships we went through. Not just me, my siblings. My mom is the hero of the book because she kept us together. All of us are still alive and none in jail. So,
Wow. I tell you, I'm just overjoyed. And it looks like I want to make sure we. Oh, there he is. I thought I lost your connection for just a few moments, but that's
yeah,
okay. A vagabond life, a memoir of father hunger, and I'm excited about this because it's something that I believe in my spirit is going to teach me something, help me out with some information that I may not have previously known before. Now, Michael, when you look back over the entire process, from the very beginning, from diving into the journey of writing your first book and then moving forward and accomplishing writing your second book, I want to find out when you look back over that journey from beginning to where you are right this moment, tell me
yeah.
what's next for you?
Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna continue to be a champion for fatherhood and for families in general. Um, I put a lot of work into this whole process. I started writing notes on the power of dadhood when I was in my 40s before I retired. I was comparing what I did and what my dad didn't do, and it was only going to be for my family, but it became so voluminous that I decided to make a book out of it, and that took me years and years and I got and I was an unknown, and I actually got a traditional publisher, and it was awesome. And that book has done very well for a guy that nobody knows. Um, and then I write a blog every day. Not No, I don't write a blog every day. I used to, but I have a blog called "Helping Fathers to Be Dads," and it's on my website, and that's www.michaelbyronsmith.com. And in there, you'll see a page that says "Helping Fathers to Be Dads," and on there you'll see maybe 400 plus articles on different ways of being a father, and I'll continue to do that.
Wow,
Wow,
exciting.
writing articles, it's a lot of work.
I believe that, and of course, at the same time, I mean, I got to find out, from you personally, was your writing experience now when you look over the writing process, Was it energizing to you, or was it pretty exhausting as you
Well,
took time out to write?
well, my training is as an engineer, and engineers are not known for writing, and I was not a good writer. And writing those blogs for many, many years helped me out. And I learned a lot over the years, and so my writing got better and better. I listened to a lot of people critique me, and so the writing process is I may not write another book, but I will continue to write because the writing is very fulfilling, and I like to reach out to people. You know, if you do something, if you think something and never express it, then what good is that? And I have a lot of thoughts about fatherhood and about families, and I'm worried about the crime and the drugs and the pregnancies and the suicides and the dropouts. We don't need that. It's so easy. It's not easy to get rid of those, but the answer is easy, and we need to work on those things.
Yeah. Wow. And oh my goodness, this is amazing information. And of course, I know that you don't mind sharing the information where people will be able, number one, they'll be able to show their love, care, concern, and support. Go out, purchase a copy or copies of both publications, share with all of their followers, their family, their friends. I mean, let's look at reality. They share everything else on like Facebook. Why not share this, right?
Right.
So
Speaking of Facebook, I have a Facebook page. If the best way anybody wants to communicate with me at all, it would be on my Helping Fathers to Be Dads Facebook page,
oh
and
my
that's the
goodness.
name of the page.
Oh, awesome.
And
Helping
that's where I post
fathers.
a lot of my. That's where I post all my articles. If you don't go to the website, you could see my articles and on that page, on
Okay.
that Facebook page.
Awesome. Helping fathers be dads on the Facebook page. And of course, if you have any problems, all you got to do is reach out to me. I'll make sure to connect the dots. I'll make sure you are in touch with one of our featured authors. As I said before, if you don't know, now you know. Michael is one of our featured authors on the GMAP Broadcast Network. Simply stop by our platform, click on the tab that is titled Featured Authors. You will see a copy of not one, but both of his current publications. Click on either one of those publications. It will take you to the necessary location. Find out more information and intimate details about the author as well as the publications. Now, speaking of that, is there any direct information that you don't mind sharing? If someone, they did want to reach out to you and maybe talk with you on a more individual basis, is there some information you don't mind sharing?
Yeah, I mean, people can contact me on this email. It's mike@michaelbyronsmith.com, and you could write me there. And what I can provide, if you ask, it would be I could send you my self-inspection checklist for fathers, the inspection checklist that you can use to see how you're doing as a father in different stages of life. And I could send you what my 7 qualities of a good father are. And let me just whip those out anyway. I've got it right here. A good father is involved, they're principled, they're consistent, they're loving, they're fun. They're not always fun, but they're fun. They can be fun, but they're not fun in the wrong times. They're passionate about being a father. They're balanced because you can't do all these 7 things at once. You can't be fun and consistent at the same time, maybe. So, these are things that you can do as a father and learn about those. And they're in my book, but I can send that list, and I can send the self-inspection checklist to you.
Awesome. And of course, we are encouraging all of you that really would like to reach out to Michael and find out more about in detail about what it is that he can share with you, the resources, the things that he's been through, the things that he has written in his publications. Please, I encourage you to do so. Now, Michael, if someone did want to reach out, or if someone did want to purchase a copy of one or both of your publications today, I'm sure you don't mind sharing where and how they could be purchased.
I sure don't mind. Actually, Amazon, of course. You can get it on Amazon. You can also get it on Barnes and Noble. And I'd say there's another one that I can't think of right now. It's on Apple type post position. So yeah, any of those. And if you have trouble finding a copy, you write me and I'll tell you, I'll find one for you. So, but, and I want to take this chance, if I could, before I lose you, Kevin, to thank you for this, because writing a book is hard, but it's really hard. What's really hard is letting people know it's out there. It is so hard. I have a small platform with my helping fathers to be dads in my book. And it's people like you that help people like me. And I thank you very much for that.
You know, and I thank you also for those kind words, because I always tell people, if you don't put the information out there, how is it that anyone's going to ever know about it? Number one. And I always tease people when they don't have a contact number. I said, if you can't be reached, you can't be reached. And it's so important to think about that, because, a lot of people out there today are really digging deep to try to just find ways to, pull as much money from individuals. But there are some individuals out there, some people that are truly, honestly, and wholeheartedly willing to simply help and just be a part of the journey. And I want to tell you this, once again, I appreciate everything that you have, stepped into and accepted. And I want you to know this.
Sometimes, yes.
And I want you to know this. I mean, you have our phone number here. I'm going to make sure that our affiliate networks also have all the information they need. But I want you to use that number. I mean, pick up the phone, call me, let me know what it is that we can do in any way, shape, form, or fashion to assist you while you're on this journey. And if you do, or when you do, there's two things that goes along with that. One, the answer will always be yes. And you will never, ever have to ask me twice to assist you in anything. I just want you to know that publicly, okay?
Very kind of you, Kevin. Thank you so much.
And again, of course, we thank God for you and accepting the invitation to be a part of our family. We also thank God for those partnered networks that are joining us today. We're going to be re-airing this conversation as much and as often as we can. If you missed any portion of it, you will be able to catch a rebroadcast consistently here. I am going to be airing it at least once all next week. And I am trying to talk with our affiliates to make sure they do the same at least once a day, because we want to make sure that we try to assist not just you, but the people that you're trying to reach out to. And that's
I only need help helping. They're the ones that need the help.
Yeah. And I know what it's like. I mean, it's so important, number one, to have a father in your life and a vagabond life. We want you to just dig deep, read into what it is that you're trying to share. And of course, we're going to be inviting you back, Michael, because we want to find out, some of the other things that you have planned, where you're going, when you're doing it. You might have a book signed, and you might be invited to an event. You never know. And great. We want to be able to assist you along the way. I simply cannot thank you enough for just simply, one, being here today, two, accepting the invitation, three, being so open-minded to share this information with as many people as you can. What I'm going to do now, before I let you go, I am simply just going to move over and allow you to speak to the viewers and listeners on this network as well as the partnered networks, and just simply tell them what's on your heart. So I'm going to move over and I'm going to simply say, Michael Byron Smith, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you, Kevin. I guess what I want to say is, if you're a mother or a father, and if you're going to be one, remember that is like job number one. And you have to do other things to make that job work. But you've got to pay attention to your children, because your children may not listen to you, but they will be watching you. And so how you do things is how they're probably going to do things. And your children really love you for who you are and do what you do, or they'll do what you do not knowing that it's wrong, or they'll do everything opposite of what you do because they do know it's wrong. So those are the things you have to think about as a parent. And if I can't imagine a society that if every family was whole, if every family had a caring mother and father, um, that the children, they would know that they're being taken care of. Kids wouldn't have to go out and prove themselves to people on the street that they don't really care for them, and they prove themselves in the wrong way on the street. So if we get every family whole, I can't imagine what kind of wonderful world this would be. We have our psychopaths, we have our crazy people, but a lot of times the trouble that's caused is by just normal people that haven't been led in the right direction. And so that's up to parents. So that's what I'd like to say.
Wow. And of course, we thank God for you. We thank God for sharing. And I again want to encourage all of you. Make sure you go out, show your love, care, concern, and support. Purchase a copy of the publications. If in fact you want more information, stop by our platform. As I said so many times before, he is one of our featured authors, GMAP1.com, and simply click on the tab that is titled Featured Authors, and you will see a copy of the publications. Click on those publications, and it will take you to the necessary location. Find out more intimate information and details about the author as well as the publications. And listen, I appreciate you so much. And when you do, ladies and gentlemen, when you do make that purchase, I want you to be sure to go back and leave a review.
Please. Remember the little kid, well, that's me when I was 6. Remember that kid. If you see that book, reviews really do help. And if you have some critical thing about the review, put her in there. I mean, I deserve it. If people can judge by themselves, but reviews really help a lot.
Good reviews, bad reviews. We just want to know what you think and how you feel. If you're recommending, if you're suggesting, do or don't, we want to know what it is that's on your heart after you have done the due diligence of leaving that review. Show me that book, the other publication one more time, if you don't mind.
There is misunderstandings. I mean, I've had single mothers come after me because they think I'm criticizing them, and I'm not. I know, wait, they're heroes, man. They're heroes, but they think they can't do it by themselves. I don't think they can as well. But my mom did a great job, but she didn't do the kind of job that if my father was there to help her, it would have been even better. So.
Oh yeah, of course, and it's always so important. We have our children, and we want to be a part of their life as dads, as well as you wanting to be a part of their life as a mother. We encourage you to do so. We encourage you to continue to think things through before you exclude the dad from the child's life. In the meantime, if there's any questions, comments, suggestions, recommendations you might have, be sure to reach out to Michael. Let him hear from you. We're going to encourage you to do so. We're going to do everything we can to inform you. But until next time, we want you to continue to be blessed and continue to be a blessing to others. I appreciate your time today. I'll, reach out to you, let you know what everybody thinks, how they feel. If someone reaches out to me, I'm going to make sure to share that information with you. Until next time, Michael, you continue on this journey. And again, if there's anything we can do, don't hesitate to let us know, okay?
Thank you. And I want to tell anybody who does reach out to me, if I don't get to you right away, I will get to you. I'm heading out of the country for a while, but I'll be back, and I'll be talking to you.
Amen. Well, I appreciate your time today, and we'll be doing a follow-up conversation with you to see how things are going. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, be blessed and be a blessing. Yours truly, Pastor Kevin, here on the #1 station in the nation, GMAP Broadcast Network, GMAP1.com. And you know how it is. I'm just simply doing what I love because I really love what I'm doing. Till next time, God bless you. And Michael, take care. I'll talk to you soon, all right?
Thank you, Kevin.